South Africa has embraced the global market of cryptocurrency. Local-based company Kagiso Interactive, with roots across Africa and the Middle East, has recently joined the cryptocurrency market. CEO Priven Reddy is here to talk about the boundaries, when it comes to the cryptocurrency, or the lack of, should I say. Good to have you in the studio. I understand you just came back, yeah? I hope you're not jet-lagged. Now, just give me a sense here of... we have seen, many people actually relate cryptocurrencies to Bitcoin, and they think it's actually the same thing. But we have seen a tumble from close to 20,000, November, December last year to just below 9,000 this year. Yeah. Just give me a sense of what this means for many of the interactive come-ups and startups across much of sub-Saharan Africa.
Well, it just depends on what is it trying to do with the blockchain and where you're coming from. I think what Bitcoin was intended to do as a medium of payment and what it's actually doing is two vastly different things right now. From us as the company, what we've developed with Cryptium, we've obviously developed the technology to circumvent issues like this, Xavier, with high volatility in Bitcoin. If we wanted to use Bitcoin as a medium of exchange, we do face a problem in terms of payment right now, because I could bill you, in 2 Bitcoin, and a month later you're sitting with 1.5 Bitcoin in terms of actual fiat value. So there does tend to be a problem with Bitcoin being so volatile at the moment.
Right. Maybe just to set the scene here, I do understand that you have Kagiso Interactive. You've actually come up with a cryptocurrency that is backed by AI. Could you just shed some more light on this one? Because this is actually might be a trailblazer for much of sub-Saharan Africa.
Okay, so what basically happened? I'm going to give you a bit of history into how the coin came about. I was sitting in Beverly Hills about 3 years ago with a client, and we were talking about cryptocurrency. And this gentleman was a member of the Saudi royal family. And he says to me, Priven, please don't bore me with this survey. It's too complicated. I don't know how Bitcoin works. I hear about it, and I don't know what it does, and I don't want to know about it. And the more I spoke to people, I got involved in Bitcoin in 2012. I was very lucky. But I started to realize that it was a bit daunting for people to understand exactly how it works. So we looked at building a new type of cryptocurrency that uses artificial intelligence that trades for you. It's almost like having 100,000 actuaries work on your behalf and managing your portfolio 24 hours per day.
But this is what I don't understand. How do you mine? Because one out there will say, okay, many of Ethereum or Bitcoin or blockchain, you have to actually mine much of this, if it's Ethers or coins. In this particular scenario, do you actually mine this and the AI actually does the trading for you or the movements?
No, basically what happens is all of the Cryptium is pre-mined. So you can purchase Cryptium and it does everything for you. So let's just say you wanted to get involved with Bitcoin. You want to get involved, you met some crypto expert that said, let's get involved in Bitcoin. And you went to trade and you noticed that the market is volatile. You got to eat, you got to sleep, you got to go to work. There's so many things you got to do. Who's watching your portfolio in that time? Who's managing your money for you? And that's what Cryptium does. Cryptium takes into account 9 different areas of strategies. It looks at geopolitical factors, socio-economic sentiment. It looks at market trends. It can actually read the news, understand what's happening around it, and a plethora of other factors it takes into account. Then it analyzes the data and it makes decisions on, okay, this is what happened in South Korea. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. It's going to affect the markets right now. Let's disinvest what we got in these coins. It literally trades for you every few minutes as opposed to going every few hours and what's happening. So it's not a trading bot. It's the evolution of the trading bot.
It's really very fascinating. Let's just move on to the entrepreneurial space, at least for much of South Africa. The government has come out with programs like BEE to have more inclusiveness and more inclusive growth. But from the entrepreneurial side, it's not very easy to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone is cut out to be one. What is something that actually stands out for you, at least?
Stands out in terms of?
To be the quintessential entrepreneur.
Okay, I think some of the most fundamental things that people actually missed is understanding, why do I want to become an entrepreneur? If you want to become an entrepreneur just to become wealthy, I think you got it wrong straight. At the outset, you're wrong already, because you're not going to get wealthy overnight. And that is why so many businesses fail. People set out and say, I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to achieve X, Y, and Z. I want to buy this fancy house and so forth. But if you don't have your groundwork properly, and you're not prepared to understand, it's going to take me a couple of years before I can get there. You're setting yourself up for failure. And that is why we need more mentorship and entrepreneurship programs.
Vivian, before I let you go, I have to ask you two things that are moving at least lots of the crypto space. One is, at least in the States, the move to actually remove ads for, well, advertising platforms that are Google and Facebook to push the likes of Bitcoin and Ether. The other is the fact that big boys like Jamie Dimon or Warren Buffett are coming out. Jamie Dimon just the other, Warren Buffett the other day going on to say that Bitcoin is rat poison squared. What does this, how does this appeal to someone like yourself who's gotten into Bitcoin close to 6 years ago?
Well, the thing is that obviously I got into Bitcoin some time ago, and it's added value to me because I didn't purchase at the price what it's now. So for me, from the outset, I can say whatever it wants, I've still made a profit on it, right? When Jamie Dimon says something, it affects the market. Or when if John McAfee comes out and he had to say, X, Y, and Z, and it affects the market, I think it affects more people that have got involved in Bitcoin right now as opposed to where it's affecting me right now. At the same time, call it a conspiracy theory, I do believe a lot of the guys say these sentiments, hoping the market crashes, they buy when it's slow, and then they sell when it's high again,